Well, one thing is just fit and needs. We just felt like you can never have enough bigs. Amir, we've been up and down with his health a little bit, so just having an insurance policy just in case, and that type of thing. Those other two guys, Will Cherry and Jordan Hamilton, did a magnificent job of competing in camp. Jordan did a great job of scoring, but in our depth chart, he would still be behind quite a few guys. So even to get to that, something catastrophic would have to happen. Greg Stiesma did an excellent job. He's an experienced player. He knows how to play. He's been in the playoffs. He's played in playoff games before. So that experience is what we went with.
How do you decision that went down to the wire yesterday? Was it the last
it was talked about. It was close, but I don't know what type of wire you're talking about, but yeah. It was made, and but again, it was a lot more went into it than just production on the floor, because Jordan clearly had a probably more productive offensive camp, than Greg did, but we saw enough of Greg and knowing what he brings, and his experience is huge.
It's always good to plug some size in for you, but what's going to be the keys for a guy like Greg to fit and acclimate himself to your system?
Well, the key is defensively, is him defending the post, guarding the paint, offensively, knowing the screening angles and screening situations. He's an excellent screener. Those are the two things he brings in, especially with the second unit as a sub coming in off the bench. Just his experience in knowing how to play, knowing how to space, knowing how to defend certain players in the league. You can't put a value on that, a number on that. So he brings a lot to the table from that standpoint.
Do you feel like you have some flexibility in the sense that Chuck, Tyler, and now Greg are all very different types of players?
Yeah, exactly, Josh. And one thing that Greg gives us is length, more so than Tyler and Chuck as far as a backup five is concerned. JV and Greg give us some length at that position, and also Lucas. I thought Lucas did a good job the other night in at center. We looked at him with the starting unit a little bit to give him some time in. Just has so much to learn, and so just with that in mind, that's why another reason why I went with Greg, because it's going to be a little time before Lucas is ready to step in and play big minutes, important minutes for us.
You guys wrapped up the preseason. I know there was some concerns with execution for yourself. A couple games left. What did you see from your group in the final few games?
We're nowhere near where we need to be offensively, timing-wise, spacing-wise, ball movement-wise. We're not there yet. And again, it takes time. Trying to incorporate a couple of new players in James and also Lou. And on top of that, playing multiple positions. Lou's playing the 1 and 2, James playing the 3 and the 4. So that compounds things a little bit, learning the system. So we still have a lot of work to do and not a lot of time to get it done in, because Atlanta is probably one of the top Eastern Conference teams that's been on the radar. The way Teague is playing, the way Corver's playing, Millsap's playing at all-star level. So our work is cut out for us. So we don't have a lot of time to get things right. And you can overcome some of that with hard play. And I thought we did that in one quarter the other night against New York. So I think that's something that we got to build on. We got to get probably 36 to 38 minutes of that, more so than just one quarter.
Going into this year, how do you think your philosophy as a coach has changed at all over the time that you've been in Toronto?
No, not necessarily. Probably our approach to practice. We're doing more reviewing more so than implementing or getting better at a certain offensive scheme or defensive scheme. So it's more mental more so than it is physical. I thought the first couple of years we was trying to develop a toughness that we're still always preaching, but I think we've got that level of toughness. And again, we just got to ramp it back up and get that chip back on our shoulder this year. But my philosophy has not changed, Doug. And again, I don't foresee it changing from being a defense first and scoring off of our defense. Probably more inclined to shooting the 3 more now than I was. You know, I would say offensively that would be the biggest change.
Is that because the game has changed or because your personnel has changed?
No, both. Both. That's a good point. That's both. I think we've got more three-point shooters than my first year here. And then the game has changed. The game is now either get to the rim or three. And, you know, that's the changing of the game. And I think you got to adjust to that for that standpoint. But also our personnel change. We have more three-point shooters. Gravis is a knockdown three-point shooter. Kyle Lowry, Terrence, DeMar has improved somewhat as a three-point shooter. So even Tyler, you know, is out there shooting threes. So again, you know, both areas have changed somewhat to facilitate that.
Has it been easier to coach this season with 10 guys back from this preseason with so many guys back from it?
Easy and not easy. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but one thing about it is trying to incorporate the new guys into very important roles is not easy because both of them bring something, Lou and also James, both of them bring something totally different, but yet and still we had such a good rhythm with the guys that are coming back. But we need Lou and James in the mix. So incorporating those two into our rotations to get them into the rhythm offensively and defensively without messing up the rest of the rhythm, the guys coming from last year, is going to be important for us.